we've arrived. Yeah, cheers, mate. Alright, so again, that technique just, oh, there's one, was just a couple of slow rolls, got 3 winds of the handle, and then... Alright, good morning Daiwa fans. Very excited to show you the brand new 24 TD Black reel today. So a very popular reel range from us, I'm sure you're familiar with it. We've got an all new model. I've brought with me the 2500 shallow spool down to East Gippsland to chase some trophy sized black bream to show you what one of the smaller reels in this lineup can do. So come with me today, hopefully we catch a few big fish. Got that paired up with a nice little infeed SK, one of the new models, 7'2" LFS. My favourite lure to throw in East Gippsland, Daiwa Spike 44. Got a beautiful looking flat behind me. Let's hopefully catch a few big ones. I'm going to have to change lure because this section of the flat's really good. Yeah, he's not. Not a bad start. A couple of casts in. Alright, so first fish for the morning. Just pushed in a little bit shallower, so flicked on a sazanami, a little bit shallower diving. You can see there's a bit of that weed on the line. There's a lot of this green kind of snotty weed on the bottom, so you want to keep your lure above that and just twitching and pausing that little jerkbait. Not a big fish by Gippsland standards, but for anyone outside of Gippsland, that's a nice little bream. But there's much bigger in this place, so that's our goal for today. Alright, so kind of premise behind the flats fishing. Obviously we're doing it by boat today, but you can also do this just wading the flats. Very accessible, especially around these Victorian waters. But really long cast is important, so light line. I've got 0.8 PE expedition braid and a nice long rod. This is a 7'2" rod, so you're getting a really long cast away from the boat or away from yourself. That's probably key with getting more bites, is that long cast. The second thing is just alternate, find the lure that's right for the depth of water that you're fishing. So at the moment I'm throwing a sazanami, and you can see the weed here is this kind of stringy green weed. And you want to be close to the weed, but you don't want to be dredging into it all the time because you just don't get enough fishable time when you cast. So really long cast, find the right lure, and then for the black bream, I really like a jerkbait retrieve. So what I mean by that is a couple of twitches, pause it, a couple of twitches, pause it, and those blacks will often eat it, or pretty much all the time they'll eat it on the pause. So you'll pause it and you'll feel that tick, and your line will start shooting off, and you'll be on. So hopefully there's a few more. I'm seeing a lot of fish on the flat on side imaging. I've got my sounders having side imaging on them, and the fish are constantly moving. So even though the boat's stationary, normally the boat has to be moving for side imaging to really be effective. I really love it in this situation because even though the boat's stationary, the fish swim through the beam, and you get a really good idea of, are the fish on the left side of the boat, are they on the right side of the boat? So I'm using the side imaging to kind of pinpoint where the most fish are. Right, duck back up onto the shallow stuff. Little fella. one. Little fella. Alright, so I mentioned in the intro, I've got the 2500S, so the S stands for shallow spool. The reason we make a shallow spool is a couple of reasons. A, it's adequate and plenty of line for this style of fishing. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of spool up. You can just chuck a whole spool of braid on there, no backing required. The other thing is the shallow spools generally have less drag, less maximum drag than the bigger models. And so that means basically in the adjustment of the drag, you've got the same amount of clicks, but for about half the amount of drag, so 5 kilos max, which means you can just be a little bit more finely adjustable in the drag settings. So when you're fishing, light line like we are today with 5-pound leaders, you can really dial in your drag just how you like it. And of course that ATD Type L drag system is just super smooth, so really enjoying using this. So that'll be about what I'd set it at to actually set the hook. Then once you hook something, half turn, you're at that nice loose fighting drag. That's about perfect. Alright, so we're just going to move back up onto the shallows. The breeze is coming up a little bit, so we'll just go back to where we caught that fish before. Alright, so we've moved back up right onto the shallow section, so we're only in about 2 foot of water. So I'm just tying on that Sazanami again. Little one. That's the death rattle. That one. Yeah, this is like right in the zone. This is like the perfect spot. Alright, so we've got one semi-alright one off this flat and a bunch of small ones. That sun's quite high now and the wind's kind of died off. So the flats fishing is going to start to get pretty tough. So we might punch over to another flat, just give that a quick go. A little bit deeper, like 5 and 6 foot of water instead of 2 or 3 feet. Give that a quick go and then probably fish tight to some structure. So get out the plastics and fish some jetties and pontoons and that. With this sun high and no wind, that'll be the best place to try and catch a big one. So give the flats another half hour and then tie on the plastics and fish tight to some structure. So let's do it. Little one. Right, so again, only a very small fish, but as I was saying before, with this calm weather, just pushing out a bit wider, fishing in more 5 and 6 foot of water, just rolling a spike 53, very slowly along the bottom. He coughed up a bit of mussel. Been chewing on mussels on the bottom. There's a few fish showing up here, so see if we can get a few more. Alright, so one of the reasons we use I like throwing a spike, whether it's the 53 or the 44, in quite shallow water like this is because you actually want it to really hit the bottom and dredge up that silt. So it's quite a soft bottom here with kind of mollusky mussel kind of rubble scattered through it. When you're hitting the bottom like this, you're creating a lot of disturbance and it draws those fish in. So as you're bumping the bottom, then you pause, that lure will just sit there in that cloud of kind of dust and the fish come over and kind of see what it is. I think that's why the deeper lures work really well in that shallower water. Obviously you can't do it when there's a lot of weed on the bottom, but when it's just a muddy bottom like this, works really well. Very small. Oh, hooks came out. Oh, right, we'll get another little one. Not setting any records, but good fun. Getting bites most casts. Just like that. Oh, that's might be a bit better. Or he's hooked in the side of the head. A little bit better. Still not a big fish by Gippsland standards. A little bit chunkier. Alright, so again that technique just, oh there's one, was just a couple of slow rolls, 3 winds of the handle and then a little pause. Might be hooked in the side of the head again I think, yeah. Again on that new TD Black, you can hear that drag sound. We've actually changed the click plate in the drag from the last couple of years. So you get that much kind of louder drag sound that people are asking for. You can hear that, just that change in the click spring, change the teeth design. It's made it just give that nice bit louder drag sound, which is nice. Alright, so as I was saying in that last fish bit, so just a couple of slow rolls like that, pause. And you see the rod tip there, it's lure's hitting the bottom, kicking up that mud, making that disturbance. And then you're pausing that lure just to give them a chance to eat it. There is heaps of fish around here. Side imaging is showing fish everywhere. So you can see on the side imaging there, all those little black kind of streaks are shadows caused by a brim. So what you're actually seeing there is the shadow from where the beam hits the brim and can't see behind it. So all those shadows are fish. There's one, oh missed him. So there's a lot on the left side, a few on the right. So the right is towards the bank, shallower water. We're right on an edge here, we're in 3 foot, but it's kind of 6 foot out to our left. There's one. And about 2 foot out to our right. So another little one, hooked in the side of the head. No, hooked in the fin. Fighting funny. Don't know how I hooked him there. Oh, came off. Oh, that's a bite. Bite. That is very small, whatever that is. Little brim, just shaking his head. This place is just absolutely loaded with fish. Gippsland Lakes became a net free zone about 4 years ago. And since then this place has just exploded with fish like that. You never used to get a lot of little fish here, but these days there's just brim everywhere. Alright, so you've seen I've mainly been throwing that one, which is a braid leader setup. That's got 10 pound expedition braid, 5 pound leader. You've seen I've been pulling the hooks on a few fish as I've been bringing them in. So I've got a little 2000 shallow spool TD Black. on an in-feet Z with 4-pound J-thread finesse on it. Spike 44, a little bit smaller lure. The straight through will be good because it just stretches that little bit more than obviously braid, which has no stretch. And it should help me keep the hooks in them. So on that regular taper in-feet rod, so the blue and white rod means it's a lot softer through that bottom end. Will help cushion those hooks. Same technique, just slow roll, the odd pause, catch a few on the straight through setup. Alright, so one of the benefits of using straight through is it's obviously fluorocarbon the whole way, so rather than just using fluoro as a leader, certain types of fluoro, like J-thread finesse, is designed as a main line. And so the benefits of that is obviously you're not casting any shadow with your braid. And when you're fishing shallow water like this, when it's sunny, the braid can actually spook fish if you're casting over them. There's fish kind of all around, milling around the boat here. And if you're casting braid over the top of them all the time, casting that shadow in shallow water, you can actually spook them before your lure even gets to them. So the straight through, being obviously clear, won't cast a shadow. Fish can't tell that it's there, just a little bit more stealthy. So bait, 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 got him. Alright, so you can see that regular taper rod really bending down to the handle. That's just going to stop those hooks pulling. You got the drag a little bit too tight, rigging up. Not a huge fish again, but the Spike 44 this time. That's the EXDR model, deeper diver. Ooh, just because we want to get that bib banging into the bottom. He's absolutely engulfed that treble. Yeah, little fish. Back. Catch another one. I got him. I got him. It's the smallest one of all. The zone of influence, the corridor of carnage, as Damien Fleming calls it. Another baby one. Just all tiny on this flat. No big ones. Hook in the side of the head. Big nib, big nib. Big nib on the paws. Big little one. Alright, so I'm going to move off the flats now. It's kind of, as I was saying, a bit calm. These fish are, the bigger ones anyway, aren't willing to play the game, so move into a bit of structure. So, don't have heaps of TD Blacks with me, so what I'm going to do is I'll just change rod quickly, give you a look at the other new SK model, which is a 681L Plus, which is really designed for structure fishing. So a little bit gruntier kind of setup. I'll retire the 722 for today. So this is a new action to the in-feet line. There's really not much like this in the rest of the in-feet range. There's got quite a bit of power down low, but still with that nice tip for skip casting little light plastics and you know, whether you're twitching a hard body in a snag or something like that. So we'll rig this one up quickly with probably a little soft plastic on like a 1/16 jig head, and we'll run into some jetties. See if we can't get a bigger one in the structure. Really give that TD Black a test out. A little tasty morsel. Yeah, if you're Follow along to our YouTube, you might have seen this feature in expedition video in the Hawkesbury, fishing some racks. Just talking about using a prototype. This is the new upcoming 2.35 inch prawn. Been working really well, fishing structure and that sort of thing. Just going to be the go-to today. A little clear gold number, 1/16 bait junkie jig head, size 1 hook. That's got a kilo fish written all over it, I reckon. Alright, so fishing structure like this, you want to crank that drag up pretty tight. And the thing with black bream is when you hook them, they'll shake their head a lot. And if you can get them out quickly before they realise they're hooked, you can often win the fight. So tight drag to start with, and then back it off once you get them out. Little one. Little one. A little small prawn. Now the wind comes up. I'll be wrecking on the flat now. We'll fish a couple in Newlands, and then while if this wind's going to stay up, we'll go drain them on the flat again. We got Taka Kawasaki here, Daiwa lure designer. Just braining them. Just going to fish a couple of jetties, and we're going to go back to the flat. Alright, so we fished in the jetties for a bit, but honestly, as soon as we got in here, the wind started blowing again, and now it's up a lot. So we're going to head back out to the flat. There's tons of fish out there you saw this morning on the side image, and with this wind, they should start really chewing. So probably wasted a bit of time coming in here, but literally as soon as we came in here, the wind started blowing. So we'll head back out, see if we can't catch a couple big ones and finish off the day. Alright, so we're back out on the flats. So I've changed back to the 722 in-feet SK rod. You can see the wind's really up now. So I've just come up to the other end, it's changed direction. So we're going to come up and fish down with the wind so you can make long casts, get it away from the boat a long way. Hopefully there's a couple of hungry keggers out here want to play ball. Just like that. Got my drag done up from the jetties. He's not big. Not big. First cast though. It's the difference a bit of wind can make on the flats. Some little double clutch 48. Little fella. See if the big ones play ball. Little DC 48 ghost perch, cracking colour, if I do say myself. Long cast. Oh, another little one. Oh, the big ones. A little bit better than the last one. Double clutch. Still very small for Gippsland standards. That's a big flatty. Is it a brim? Yeah, big flatted. Big flatty. Big flatted, took me spike. First flatted I've hooked on this flat. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. It's the one we've been looking for. Not huge, but he's decent. Just shaking his head. Just on that spike, just doing that slow roll, pause, retrieve I explained before. Just grab the net for this one because it's only 4 pound line. He's not massive. Yeah. He's a solid fish, he'd be 35 or something like that to the fork. Adele AU colour. It's got that little bit of flash on the belly. Translucent top, works really well down here. That's on that straight through setup. 4 pounds straight through the infeed Z and that new 24 TD Black 2000 shallow spool. Beautiful little crankbait combo. That's an awesome little fish. Oh, that's him. That's the one. That's what we came for. Come here. Here's the cameraman. Yes, how good is that? Look at it. Donkey on the double clutch. New TD Black. How good is that? That's massive. That's what you come to Gippsland for. Oh yeah. 40 centimeters to the fork. Beautiful black. Smash that double clutch. Awesome fish, super dark, living in all this weed. That's what it's all about on the new 24 TD Black. How good? Good to finish on that big one. We're going to put the boat on the trailer. Great day on the Gippsland Lakes. Got a couple of nice ones. Testing out the brand new 24 TD Black. Make sure you check them out in stores. A couple of the standout lures today. Obviously the double clutch 48 got the big one, but caught fish on Sazanami, spike 44s. Great day fishing hard bodies on the flats here. As I said, 24 TD Black. I absolutely love this thing. I think you will too. It's in stores now, so make sure you check it out. See you in the next one.